You're welcome. 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 You're welcome.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 4th episode of the You're Welcome podcast. I'm here, WWE Shows Reviews 5, or Hardy Malhotra, as you might know me as. So I just want to say, this is the 4th episode of the You're Welcome podcast. And for this week, I have none other than PCW's head referee. His name is Steve Rowdy. So big props to Steve Rowdy for the interview. I'm thankful for Steve Rowdy, and people must be thinking that he's just a referee, but I have a lot of respect for Steve Rowdy because he's just awesome, and he doesn't just referee, he does something else, which I can't explain because it's inside business, so he only told me this thing. So sorry about that if you were wondering, but unfortunately, I can't say that word, that thing, what he does, but so I'll be taking to the interview, and then after that we'll have a commercial break, and then we'll listen to a theme song, which will be I'll go with, what's his name, I'll be going with, the tag team champions, Daniel Bryan and Kane theme song. So enjoy this interview. So so enjoy Steve Rowdy's interview, and I'll see you guys after the interview. Peace out and enjoy the interview again.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 4th episode of the You're Welcome podcast. I'm your host, Hardy Malhotra, and I'm here again at Slam Arena, and I've got probably one of my favourite referees at PCW. His name is Steve Rowdy. Give him a big welcome.
Thanks, Hardy. I appreciate it, mate. This is one of your favourite referees. There's 2 referees, Hardy, and one just became a commentator.
Anyway, I prefer you out of all the referees.
All right.
So, yeah. First question is, I'm going to give you some questions, obviously. So,
cool.
I was just wondering, how'd you get into wrestling?
How did I get into wrestling? I was always a fan. Used to watch it on television.
Yep.
Certainly, my friends knew I enjoyed wrestling. They were also into the programming, and one of them came along to school one day and said I saw a poster around the light pole for local wrestling show PCW in Roeville. This was in 2001, May 2001. So I went along to the show and just absolutely fell in love. I remember I sat in the second row of that show, and I made sure from that show on I had the front row. I'd bring up relentlessly as soon as the show would finish until I had my booking through. And an interesting fact would be, not very interesting, but it's a fact, I actually never missed a Roeville show between when I first went to a show in May 2001 right up until PCW stopped running. So it was never missed a show. Always made sure it was available.
Yeah. No, that's a nice story. So Another question is, what era did you watch of the wrestling? Like WWE, WCW? What did you watch?
Yeah, I guess like probably many people, many wrestling fans around my age in Australia, you either had Foxtel or you had Optus. And if you had Foxtel, you'd be watching WWF. If you had Optus, you'd be watching WCW. And I was an Optus boy, so all I knew was WCW. I would be watching the pretty much from around 96, I think it was, 96, 97. I'd be watching WCW, and, I guess at the time I thought it was absolutely terrific. I was right behind the characters. And it was only really after I discovered WWF and even at the time ECW that I realised, how big the world of wrestling was. So I started looking at other tapes, and I would order the tapes online, or if I knew someone that was selling them. And as far as wrestling goes, and the era I grew up in, I didn't just watch what was happening week to week. I would go back and watch tapes from some time ago. And like a lot of people, Bret Hart was probably the man that comes to mind as far as the top of the ladder for me. and always enjoyed watching him.
That's good. I'm a big fan of Bret Hart myself as well. Fellow Canadian, so yeah.
You're Canadian, are you?
No, just joking.
Okay. You don't look very Canadian.
I'm not, but I know I'm an Indian YouTuber that's Canadian, and he's really famous, so I was just joking.
Ah, terrific.
It's an inside joke.
Inside joke.
Yeah. So, my next question is, what made you come to PCW other than you kept coming to shows and stuff? So.
Yeah, look, I wanted to get involved. Like I said, the first show I went to, I absolutely fell in love with. I couldn't believe literally meters away from me was a wrestling ring in my, not my hometown, but close enough to my hometown. I thought, this is absolutely incredible. And inside that ring, there was guys that were really, I understand the quality wasn't quite there back in 2001, but it was really entertaining still. And to actually, be a part of wrestling as a spectator was exciting. I loved it every month, and I would start going to the local shows at the academy, and they were much smaller and much more intimate, and you had the chance to get to know the wrestlers and the people behind the scenes. And I had the opportunity to shoot one of the shows, photography, and that was my first gig at PCW. I was a ringside photographer for about 2 years, and that's kind of, I guess, my first introduction into PCW is behind the scenes. And from there, I shifted into refereeing because there was no referees at the time, and I thought I'd give that a go. And absolutely fell in love with that. And since then, I've done a little bit of production and eventually made my way back to refereeing.
Yeah, that's good. Also, another question is, who do you think's up there in the PCW roster?
Oh, look, there's so many guys at the moment that's doing well. Being a referee, of course, you've got to be fair and unbiased. But if I was to pick a few that a collection that I think are right up there, you couldn't really go past. Obviously, the PCW National Champion Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce, I've refereed, I think, 3 or 4 matches that he's done now. He's possibly my favourite wrestler to referee. He's absolutely brings a presence to the shows and has improved, I guess, the quality. And you've got to look at other wrestlers like Daniel Swagger and how far he's come since 2010, since PCW restarted. I'm a big fan of the tag division. I think the tag division at PCW is improving greatly. Our champions, Fully Sick, are really stepping up this year. I think the random acts of violence are also doing really well. But there's so many guys coming through. Your Chris Trios, your Twitches, which are absolutely terrific, and still the old favourites that are improving month to month. Your Cracker Jacks and your Cletuses, who have nothing to prove. They're absolutely achieve so much in wrestling, but they still just get better and better. So I think there is a bit of a challenge here at PCW at the moment. I think a lot of wrestlers are working very, very hard to make sure that each show is better than the last. And it's working. We've had sellout crowds at Roval since November last year. It's now March. And that's unheard of in Australian wrestling, that you have back-to-back-to-back and now to back shows that are sellouts. And from what I'm told, April's going to be no different.
It's great to hear. So, another question I have is that I've seen, when I came to PCW Christmas Chaos, you and Tricky have a great relationship, like after the show, obviously, but you and Tricky have a great relationship. How did this start?
Look, Tricky's a terrific bloke. Well, I've known Tricky since I started in 2001, since I started coming to shows. We're both around the same age. And I guess that helps, when you've got, certainly for me, I can't speak for everyone, but those friends who did like wrestling when I liked wrestling at school, they grew out of it. So, unlike me, I just continued to love wrestling. I just loved it, and so all my friends moved on, and I really didn't have anyone to talk to about wrestling. So when you'd come down to PCW, it wouldn't just be a chance to see a show, it'd be a chance to be around other people that didn't judge you for liking wrestling, other people that want to talk just about wrestling. And Tricky was one of those people I just hit it off with. He's an absolute, very committed person when it comes to PCW, much like I am. And he's got I think you see him in the ring, how much he's progressed recently. I think he is one of our leading stars in the show. And it's really good to see.
Good. I like Tricky as well, so, yeah. Another question I have...
He's alright.
Another question I have is, will you ever get in the ring? As a wrestler?
I have had one match.
One match.
I'm undefeated. I'm undefeated.
You are like Michael Cole.
I'm Michael Cole. No, not quite like Michael Cole. My match was the main event of a Roval show.
Oh.
So as far as I'm concerned, I'm retiring on top when it comes to wrestling. I wrestled in 2004 against Chucky Chaos, and Chucky Chaos was a hardcore wrestler here in Melbourne. Chuck had actually done quite well for himself. He'd performed a few shows with a number of international stars at some of our bigger venues like Rod Labour. So it was a real pleasure to work with him. He had a storyline throughout the year where he was refereeing his own matches, which caused friction with all the referees. And at the time I was the leading referee, and we had the confrontations, and it led to a tables match. And so I actually wrestled my first match, a tables match, at Roval. It was in the main event. There were 5 tables or so. And there was quite a big spot, I remember, that Chuck did, and it absolutely made the match, where at the time we had a ramp that went between the stage and the wrestling ring. And I literally threw Chucky from inside the ring to the ramp, and the ramp, he went through the ramp, it collapsed. So we had the collapsible stage, and he went right through the ground. That's quite a big fall from over the top rope right to the ground. Look, quality of the match was as you expected, but it certainly wasn't a disaster, and it was good fun to be a part of, but it just never really interested me. I've just got no desire to put my body through that. I don't think I'd be very capable at doing it, and it's just not something that grabs me. I can't explain it why. People ask me frequently, why didn't you ever wrestle? Why don't you get involved? Just for no other reason than I just didn't want to. It just grabbed me.
Yeah.
I played football, local footy. That was my sport, and I'm still involved in footy now. And I was quite content with that.
It's good story to hear. My last question is: do you have any social networking or anything that you can plug out, like I did with Tricky?
No, not really. I know Tricky's got quite a collection of social media sites. He likes to keep in touch with his spectators and his fans, so that's important. But look, PCW can be found online. We all know the Facebook, the Australian Wrestling PCW Facebook, and OzWrestling.com.
Yeah.
But certainly for me, there's probably no reason you'd want to contact me. As long as I'm the referee out there, you guys should be booing me and just making sure that if I'm missing something, you yell out and let me know, because I don't know these things. It's very hard, especially you got a tag match. You're trying to keep the other guy out of the ring, and behind you, you don't know this till you watch the tape back. There's people cheating, and you're oblivious to it. So you try and do your best as a referee, but it's not always possible. So when spectators yell out and let me know, I can turn around and I can make sure that stops.
Yeah.
But just have fun at our shows. Keep coming. Keep enjoying us. If you're not enjoying us, make sure you let us know. At the the most important thing to PCW is our shows are entertaining, and the spectators love it. The spectators dictate how the stories go, and that's by far the most important part of what we do.
Cool.
People like you, Hardy.
Thank you.
Now you're at the Slam Academy backstage doing a podcast.
Yes, I am. Any fans that follow PCW that you want to plug as well?
Any fans that follow you? I don't know. I know there's a guy who does YouTube videos. He does lots and lots of YouTube videos. I don't know what happened to him, because he's kind of lost a lot of weight, and you go to his page and it's not even him anymore. It's a photo of another girl. I'm pretty sure it's his girlfriend or a girl that he likes or really likes. And he went from loving wrestling to loving taking photos inside pools, doing bombs and stuff. So I knew there was that guy. I don't know who that was. I think his name was Jake somebody.
Jake, I don't know.
But no, look, there's always great PCW fans out there. Samantha's a huge fan online. I'm sure there's many others I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Is there one? I know there is one I'm forgetting. I can't remember her name. I think it's Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big fan. But either way, we love you all. Keep in contact with us. Make sure you continue to come to the shows and support the product.
Alright, thank you very much, Mr. Steve Rowdy, for
good on you, mate.
This awesome interview. And
remember, if you ever need any referee lessons on how to learn, how to count to 3, let me know.
Cool, thank you.
So that was my interview with Steve Rowdy, guys. So yeah, we'll go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll listen to Team Hell Knows theme song, and then we'll come back, and I'll give you some updates on who's gonna be on next week's show. So that was Kane's and Daniel Bryan's theme song. So sorry about that little wait before. I couldn't find the song, so sorry about that, guys. But next week, it is going to be episode 5. So episode 5 is going to be a big one. So I'm hoping that I can get some big guests. So tweet me. I'll be putting a tweet out soon on who wants to be on episode 5 of the You're Welcome podcast. So if you're interested, tweet me up or Facebook me. Links of my Facebook page and my Twitter are down below. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the You're Welcome podcast, episode 4, with Steve Rowdy, head referee at PCW. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week, hopefully, with the big episode of episode 5. Catch you guys later, and have a nice day or night, wherever you are in the world. Peace out, everybody.